Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, another riveting episode of the Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, the man of today and tomorrow and yesterday. In fact, a man of every time. Going to be showing off here a 2 versus 2. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a bit of a 4-man game. It's been a bit of a while since we last had one, but I thought this one had some pretty good points to point out and some pretty good action. Also some things that really need to be improving on, but still it's going to be some action for you. 2 versus 2, a team game as some people are quite fond of. Moscow Outskirts, it's the winter time, it's cold, it's white, it's not cocaine. We shall be watching Lewish and Krozzfyre fighting for the Soviet Union, for the Guards' 5th Mechanized Tank Corps. No, just Corps, they didn't call it Mechanized Tank Corps. Opposing them shall be Opawilhelm and Baumgruppe. Baumgruppe. Yes, proper Deutsches Namen. Fighting for the Reich, taking on the mantle of the 3rd SS Panzerdivision Totenkopf in this regards. Grenadiers already out here for Opawilhelm, MG42 following up there. I also note there a bit of spread, and we're also noting here that Baumgruppe immediately sets about building a munitions cast. This is pretty interesting. Clearly he's intending for them to get a lot of munitions. He's clearly got some plans involving munitions. We also noting here doctrines of fortified armor, joint operations and lightning war, blitzkrieg. And conscripts already making a run for the church. Apparently old believers and the Orthodox, despite all this opposite of it, sought refuge in the church. Grenadiers here caught on the wrong side of things, though, out in the open, trying to seek cover in the shrubbery. But alas, they are not the Knights of Knee, and the shrubbery shall provide no benefits as conscripts sweep in from above. And meanwhile, Grenadiers with an MG42 in support quickly stop a conscript advance over there. Pioneers silently moving up. 2nd Grenadier squad up. And we have, of course, noting here that Baumgruppe is running into a bit of issues initially because he did not get a lot of troops right away. Of course, the munitions cache hampering his initial combat ability, meaning Krozzfyre is definitely going to have the advantage until Baumgruppe can do something. And of course, the munitions cache, though, could be used in that advantage to actually give him an early light machine. But the Grenadiers need to get away. They're low on health, down to 1 man. He's forced to run through the fire. And looks like he makes it. He makes it. Absolutely amazing. Soviets holding most of the map. Grenadiers advancing, of course, again. Munitions cache could be there for an early light machine gun. I would hope that, as that could definitely be something that might help not just Baumgruppe, of course, but also Opawilhelm, allowing him also to gain some light machine guns. In fact, seeing heavy machine guns there coming in for Opawilhelm, which I believe means grandfather Wilhelm. Pioneers versus the Grenadiers, another Molotov. Fire flying through the skies. MG here running into a bit of a problem with that. Got munitions for a light machine gun now, though these Grenadiers might not be the ones to do it with. Conscripts suffering a bit there. Large infantry force up from Lewish. And Krozzfyre joining in as well, adding a bit to the Krozzfyre. Oh, the wit, the wit. Conscripts moving in from the north. Oh, already an MG42 has fallen into the hands of Krozzfyre, but getting caught right in front of another MG42. This is not looking good. Tearing through the Soviets who have dared to blaspheme and defile the MG42. Proud German engineering. And Baumgruppe swift to recruit that MG42. In the meanwhile, we are seeing that Opawilhelm's Grenadiers in a bit of trouble. He is not upgrading. He's not expended a bit of munitions as of yet. He should consider that, perhaps even getting a Flammenwerfer for his Pioneers. A bit of ooh-rah and then a bit of ooh-ow, as the MG42 swiftly ends the lives of several conscripts. And a quick rush here for the victory point, not to secure it, but to cut it off. Interesting, interesting. No, though that doesn't actually affect the connection with the fuel point, as there's a bit of territory over here that connects as well. fun fact about this map. But time to have a look at Baumgruppe, who's not actually using his munitions for anything as of yet. He's also up reinforcing an awful lot of grenadiers, 3 squads, not looking too good. I suppose fits in with the whole Totenkopf build, as again they did suffer very high losses throughout the war. They were quite known for that, though again if you were to ask any of the German commanders of praise, then they'd rather overlook that bit, which is certainly always the fun part. But looks like light machine guns now being handed out. 2, there we go. That's definitely going to increase the overall firepower of Baumgruppe, and definitely give him a lot of firepower to rate against his opponent. Conscripts here, Molotov, but the price will be high. Very high. And there we go, 2 light machine gun groups. Come on, schnell! And a scout has arrived for Krozzfyre, so a special rifle command up, charging straight into the pioneers, delivering flame and 50 caliber bullets. At the same time, advance going up here, they're going to run into the 2 grenadier squads with light machine guns, and the pioneers got wiped out. A tragic loss. There we go, light machine gun fire going to open up. Conscripts already suffering heavily, though it's not going to happen when the second light machine gun opens up. Molotov locked. There we go. Another MG42 opening up. And just note the amount of firepower now the Grenadiers can lay down, and it simply means they can overcome much larger forces. Well done. And that would certainly be an actual Panzer Grenadier squad, these 2 4-man teams with light machine guns. Because that was rather how an actual Panzer Grenadier squad was. Very heavily equipped with light machine guns. And again, it's not usually what seems to be sort of, relayed in games, to be honest. Scout car here, they're having suffered already quite a bit. Heavy engine damage. Engineers are quick to get out before it blows up so they don't risk getting blown up with it. Mortar up for Opawilhelm. Grenadiers doing what they can here despite 30 caliber fire and the flamethrower. And Baumgruppe holding on to the victory point over there, which is also currently the only victory point they have.
MG support standing by.
Scout car though not looking too good. And there we go, blown up. And looks like we see that Opawilhelm has gotten himself a scout car, like the Panzerspielwagen. Bunker going up here. Also note he's actually placing it between the 2 headquarters. You can actually do this on this map. Some team game maps don't quite allow it, but when you can, I mean, you definitely should. So there's only really 1 medic bunker that needs to be built, and thus your opponent or teammate can also benefit from it. So this is actually well done there by Baumgruppe. Well done. Good teamwork right there, how we like to see it. And of course, much greater distance here up in the northern base, interestingly enough, actually, which also means they can't really benefit from it. Which is a bit of a shame for the Soviets. I suppose that's something Relic might want to look into, I don't know. And again, might not. But Grenadiers here not doing too well. Baumgruppe could lose a squad. Bit unfortunate that. Bit unfortunate, but we are seeing a large gaggle of Soviet infantry moving up the right hand side. Krozzfyre and Lewish pouring in. The west so far seems actually abandoned. And also nothing going on here from their support weapon company. Oh, already the mechanized armor company is going out for Krozzfyre. Grenadiers moving up the central road, and looks like the Soviets have decided to do a bit of camping here to warm themselves. But at the same time, of course, they're also pretty easy targets because this is negative cover. The Grenadiers also negative cover. That was not really well done. Baumgruppe with rifle grenades are flying in. Squad wiped out. Light machine gun obtained, but still they're negative cover. My God. I imagine Vasily will have something to write about home after this. Dear mother and father, I learned something today with my friends. Don't camp in the middle of the road. I wish my friends were alive also to have learned this lesson. That's not really how you do it. You don't place that out in the middle of the bloody road. I mean, my God, how did he even manage to live this long if he didn't have that sort of kind of intuition? Camping in the middle of the road. But there we go, a bit of a party there, lots of Molotovs being thrown through the windows, a housewarming party if you will.
Enemy has killed a machine gun crew.
Now Baumgruppe is being a bit too slow. Unit preservation seems to have taken a huge fall as he's losing several units in short succession. That's bad, and we're also noting here, Doctrine has been chosen, mechanized support.
You need light anti-tank support?
Scout car doing what it can, looks like now Opawilhelm doing most of the work. Since Baumgruppe has taken a bit of a thrashing. Oh, that 22 conscript squad could go down. In fact, the Soviets, in particular Krozzfyre, looks to have taken huge losses in conscripts. That's not really good. In fact, he's down to 1-2 squads of conscripts. So yeah, again, don't go camping in the middle of the road. And if you ever see someone doing it, I'd suggest you remove them from the road. Opawilhelm displaying a bit better skills in unit preservation, that's good. Combat engineers engaging with panzer grenadiers and grenadiers, not looking good for them. Lots of guards in from squads now being forced in, including that conscript squad with the light machine gun. That's definitely going to make them lethal. Grenades being exchanged. Ooh! Guard squad suddenly lost half. And the mortar unleashing death from above. Nothing else going on the base of Lewish. No mechanized armor company or the tank battalion company, whatever command. Interestingly enough, Baumgruppe's grenadiers though doing what they can. Light machine gun versus light machine gun, but there we go. Mortar round falls down, almost wiping out the Grenadier squad. Grenadiers getting grenaded and Molotov, losing 3 men in swift succession. The losses are horrendous. Absolutely atrocious. And the Germans are actually having some success in large part of the group, and Baumgruppe ensuring that most of his Grenadiers actually upgraded with light machine guns. That is good, that is good. That definitely, again, allows them to basically fight a bit more independently, although you still want basically them to work together in groups. Though Molotovs and flamethrowers prove to be an issue, Lewish pushes up forwards. Large infantry complement. He's got 5 squads, 2 of them guards, and a field gun is also around in case of fascist tankists. Nothing going on here though, no further buildings, no structures. Same thing with the Soviets. Lewish has not built anything else. No structures, no technology. Grenadiers doing what they can here. Opawilhelm troops pouring in, and a combat engineer squad is wiped out. West is completely German at the moment. Guards infantry suffering brutally to the Panzer Grenadiers. And a bunch grenade onto the field gun, wiping it out. Splendid, splendid. And there we go, an H-85 has arrived for Krozzfyre, a bit interestingly delayed. I suppose they haven't had much fuel and they haven't built any caches, unlike the German players who actually have 3 caches, 2 munitions and a fuel. Well done there, by the way, by the proud soldiers of the Reich.
Enemy infantry has our range. Your command?
Bunker up there, likely going to machine gun bunker, also noting here Tellermines to ensure it doesn't get flanked. Though the proximity is a bit close and there's a risk it might be set off by something else, so that's less good there by Wilhelm. The idea is nice, but the execution could be better. And looks like the entire centre area is now being covered by machine guns. That's definitely going to make a direct assault very painful for the Soviets, and they really should consider flanking it then. instead of continuing to pour in Guards infantry, knowing that Krozzfyre also has Guards infantry. So what direction has he gone? He's gone for the exact same thing. That's usually what I'd call a bit of a bad idea. And I think that was their own mortar which just killed 3 Panzer gunners. Yes, indeed. And never good news that. An Su-76 could perhaps prove a bit advantageous, provide a bit of light artillery. And certainly that is something the Soviets are very much lacking in at the time. Baumgruppe's Grenadiers, though, continue to forage up on the right-hand side. Soviets have suffered atrociously against some less than good tactical decisions. Again, there was also a whole operation camp in the middle of the bloody road, specially designed by Comrade Stalin himself. No one dared to say no. Conscripts here, though, need to be careful. Lewish, do you have a death wish? Will it be a death wish then? Su-85 doing what it can. And we are noting a heavy panzer co-op for Baumgruppe. It's been some time since we've seen that. Hooray! Hooray indeed. And looks like Krozzfyre is floating a bit of manpower here. He might want to look into that, either get some more guards, some more regular units or something. He could also consider getting some penal battalions or a sniper something, you know, to add a bit of pressure to the Germans. Oh, Grenadier squad wiped out, absolutely murdered here. Krozzfyre seized the opportunity. Field gun tried to be recruited but did not succeed as well. And looks like a straight on assault here is being launched. And again directly into the 2 MG42s. I'm not entirely sure why he insists on doing that, at least not without a mortar to drop some smoke first. I mean, if you're going to launch a head-on assault, drop some smoke, man. Panther has arrived. Panzerkampfwagen 5. Been some time since we've seen that one, to be honest. And a quick anti-tank grenade, unfortunately, sets the engine ablaze. And the Panther, at least the earlier Panther variants, are actually known for that. Otherwise, the Panther was also known for not being the most mechanically reliable tank. And in fact, the Tiger was more reliable mechanically than the Panther, as long as it was properly maintained. But certainly when fighting against Su-85s, the Panther is going to be a better bet, as the Panther does have more speed, and it also has a frontal armor that the Su-85 actually struggles against. Plus it has a higher range than the Panzer IV as well. So in many senses the Panther is a better bet than the Panzer IV when it comes to dealing with Su-85s. And we're seeing a tank battalion coming up. We're seeing a T-70 arriving. Could be used to harass target separated and lonely infantry squads. That could definitely prove to be very fruitful if utilised properly, of course.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies. Belongs to the Soviet people.
And a noble blitz. So clearly one of them has gone. In fact, Baumgruppe has gone for assault support. The German players are clearly expending some of the manpower towards stockpiling a lot of resources, whereas the Soviets are not at all. And while it might leave the Germans a bit short-handed initially on manpower, on the other hand, of course, as it goes on, it will turn out to be a good investment, which can allow them, in fact, to save manpower, in particular the munitions. In fact, they've got 3 munitions caches now, plus the Opel Blitz. They will definitely not be lacking. And of course, that can be used for a lot of light machine guns, Panzerschrecks, upgrades of other kinds, calling abilities. I mean, plenty of things there. Though again, they should be careful not going too heavily overboard, so they leave themselves short-handed in manpower for the frontline units. Otherwise, I mean, it's going to be pretty much game over that way. but a Katyusha providing a bit of artillery. And an access to the ISU-152 here for Krozzfyre, but he clearly doesn't have resources for it anytime soon. Popping over to Opawilhelm, who's scorned for Joint Strike Doctrine, giving access to howitzers, Pack 43s, light artillery barrages, reconnaissance overflights, and the officer. And he's got plenty of munitions. He's also got no upgrades to his infantry whatsoever. But we are seeing the Leichter Feldhaubitze going up. Whoops. So we could be seeing a bit of a light artillery barrage being utilised against his opponent. He could of course also use his reconnaissance overflight ability to get an idea what his opponents are up to, where they're preparing their forces, what they've got in their bases, all those sort of things. But will Opawilhelm actually utilise his doctrine beyond the howitzer? If he doesn't, I'm going to say I'm a bit disappointed. T-70 operating up here on the right flank, going in after the munitions caches and the Opel Blitz. Not a bad idea, a bit of resource harassment from Lewish against Baumgruppe. And there we go, the munitions cache is down. Large infantry force moving in. Very large, lots of light machine guns, Panzerschrecks. Definitely an impressive amount of firepower that could be brought to bear upon any opponent. Panther apparently only now being repaired. That's actually a bit not good. And there we go, the conscripts are just being shredded. I mean, the strafing run doesn't help, but I mean, those 3 light machine guns are going to bring down hell. In particular, the Veterans Free one. And of course, since he's got an assault support, he would actually be pretty good if he actually combines it with the artillery field officer and then uses the direct, well, the officer's ability to boost troops, because again, I mean, it boosts accuracy, so Veterans Free one is going to be more accurate, and he's going to fire faster, but looks like it got wiped out. He lost his Veterans Free Grenadier squad to the T-70. Oh, goodness gracious. No. Oh, thank God. He hadn't sent it in there, but still. I would suggest an officer support things. Another strafing round there, saving them from the infantry, but they're still the T-70. Assault pushing through here in the centre. Artillery fire wing so far, heading nothing. We are seeing that Opawilhelm's forces are getting overrun. The west flank is utterly collapsing. Full-on assault here from Krozzfyre, devastating things. While Lewish is also forcing away Baumgruppe's troops. The Panther should have been there, but now the Panther's being detailed here to try and clear out the SU-85, but needs to be careful. It's moving too close to the conscripts. It's going to get anti-tank grenaded. What are you doing, Baumgruppe? Oh, Baumgruppe, you klutz. And a reconnaissance overflight.
Light artillery barrage ready to launch.
A reconnaissance overflight. That should be interesting. Panzer Grenadiers need to retreat. Not looking too good for them. They're down to 1 man. And finally leaving the premises. Or vacating.
Our opponents are seizing the sector.
And looks... Ooh, building collapsed here. Rather unfortunate. Artillery firing away. And there we go. Looks like... Oh! Fragmentation bombing run called in on the S-85. No, though. Fragmentation bombing rounds are not really effective against vehicles, though it does stun them. And clever players will actually use that to sort of stun out a vehicle to allow other vehicles to deal with it. But here it's a bit of a waste of 160 or 80 munitions. So that was less good. But Germans advancing once more. Panther running covering fire, though it needs repairs again. And Baumgruppe needs to build up his troops, as he has suffered a bit horrendously. Again, Baumgruppe does seem at times a bit too slow to retreat. And not quite coherent, which is a bit of a problem, to put it mildly. In the meanwhile, Opawilhelm is on the other hand displaying quite good unit preservation. He's got quite a larger force. And we're seeing some light artillery getting called in as well. Though wherever it could be, I wonder. Oh, calling in right here on the movement path. And looks like Krozzfyre's not paying attention. The conscripts are just getting murdered here. What, squad wiped out? Oh, good lord. That was actually pretty clever done, calling in on one of the major arteries for movement, and clearly Krozzfyre wasn't paying attention. He just, oh, the casualties, oh, the inhumanity. Panther fighting on its very own. Baumgruppe having gotten another one, but you shouldn't be sending in tanks like that unsupported. It looks like he might have a chance here since the T-34 can't ram it, though he should be careful he doesn't get anti-tank grenaded. And he certainly shouldn't be exposing the rear to make it easier for the enemy tanks to penetrate. That's certainly not a good idea because already gotten the Panther down to less than half health. Bit of a bad idea, Baumgruppe. In fact, it's time to look at him. And there we go, T-34 down. Looks like he's getting... No, he's getting a marked target. And meanwhile, Russian continue to push up. West flank has been secured. Panther trying to escape. Nothing here to destroy it. That's good news. But 2 Panthers, 3 orbital blitzes, barely an infantry left. Again, Baumgruppe needs to work up in on his unit preservation. He does seem to have a tendency of making some slightly unfortunate decisions, which actually ends up losing him a lot of useful units. And something got shot down. So much action going on. And the Panther went down. The Panther went down. T-34 trying to flank in. Perhaps going in after the artillery to perhaps spot for something else. But looks like it does not happen. Instead, the Panther gets the kill just in time before it gets within visual range of the howitzer. Bloody well close. Bloody well close. Seven kills on the Panther so far.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Right point secured. All a bit quiet.
Territory is out of contact.
Again, Baumgruppe needs more infantry and he needs to work a bit more on preserving things.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
But the Panthers do put a lot of pressure on the Soviets. It does make them a bit hard for them to just do whatever they want, as it actually presents a credible threat to the Su-85, which of course is a bit the job of the Panther. And certainly some people seem to have forgotten utterly about the Panther and just think the Panther 4 perhaps should be able to do anything. Perhaps not, you know, perhaps there's also something called the Panther, you know, a bigger tank, better armoured, faster, better range and penetration.
The bunker has been approved with an MG
Kruppstahl and Porsche engines. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen. Also bunker up here to protect. Good, good. Right flank that now has utterly fallen into the iron hand of Stalin.
Our opponents are seizing
Lewish might want to consider upgrading his half-track with the anti-aircraft upgrade to help protect against German air force power from the Luftwaffe. Another advance up the centre. They seem to insist on it. How to his veterans 2 already increasing the overall damage. And a T-70 on a rampage. Veterans 2 already. And a Panzerwerfer on the way for Baumgruppe. T-70 moving up and opening up on the exposed flank of the Grenadiers. Oh dear, wiping out most of the squad here, that's not good. Munitions cache down again, and squad wiped out. Baumgruppe needs to focus units a bit more. He does have a tendency now to getting more desperate and just spreading out too far, which makes it much, much easier for the Soviets to take them out, actually. He needs to focus up again, he needs to coordinate, regroup, and rally. And it's certainly putting more and more pressure onto Opawilhelm if he's not careful. So continue to fire, but Krozzfyre is suffering horrendous losses in the process. And there we go. 2 half-tracks with anti-aircraft machine guns. A fresh MG42. And we're actually seeing now a support armor co-op for Opawilhelm. Splendid. Splendid. And looks like that T-70 is in trouble. Quick burst there from the autocannon of the scout car. Set that on to its maker. And veterans with 3 increasing damage overall. Lovely that.
What do you need?
And time to pop over to Lewish and time for the mid-game analysis. Current situation is a bit 50-50, or well, more 60-40 in the favour of the Soviets at the moment. The Germans are holding on, but they are running into problems. In particular, Baumgruppe has faltered a few times too many and is now definitely the one that needs to basically just run support for Opawilhelm until he's back on his feet. Opawilhelm having now the larger force. On the other hand, he's lacking a bit of armour, and certainly this could fix it up. Perhaps a few Stooks to quickly buff things up, or perhaps a Panzer IV or 2. Either of those two would work, whereas, well, Baumgruppe perhaps might want to consider a Panther, a Sturm Panzer IV, or a Tiger tank since he's gone that doctrine, something that can help him break out a bit more, something with some big guns and more infantry for that matter. For the Soviets, things, well, are not looking too good either. Krozzfyre in particular has taken a rather violent thrashing, a few mistakes here and there, and again the whole Operation Camp in the middle of the road really punished them deeply, and they need something extra, and the fact that they've gone for the same doctrine rather bereaves them of a lot of strategic and tactical options. Instead of having something where they could then sort of offer different things, they're now pretty much bound to the exact same thing, which leaves their options fewer, their options of actually breaking out of this. Of course, what they probably should be trying to aim for is at least one of them gets the ISU-152 and blast their way through with considerably heavy firepower. Then, of course, they also need to protect it. And for Mr. Lewish, who's gone for the tank battalion command, build up a proper tank force. Don't just send them in one-on-one. That's just going to result in death and destruction for them. Get up a small force, 3 or 4 T-34s, then send them in, send them on a rampage. That way there might be a chance, and they should consider setting up some caches, because that's definitely one of the things that's giving the Germans an advantage, because again they have been able to basically build up a considerably larger resource cache, slowly but surely, because they didn't just expand in one go, but slowly did. And that's rather also where the Soviets have been slightly falling behind. So there's something there to consider. Also, perhaps, getting some more of their doctrines, but mostly they just use Guards infantry. They haven't used this. A bit this, not really this as of yet, and nor this. So there are definitely some things that need to be improved on. For Krozzfyre, again, he needs to build up a force, get another Su-5, perhaps or go for the ISU-152 straight. But again, they need to also build up, and they also need to begin mining the roads. They need to try and deny the Germans the mobility. I mean, the Panther again is very much dependent on mobility. It is again one of the fastest tanks in the game, in particular considering its size and armor, and that is also something people forget, but again that's something that should be utilized. But let us return to the fight. Also, they might want to consider stopping up with the full frontal assault to try to scout out the flanks and attack that way, because this is just really benefiting the Germans. And either strafing run or fragmentation bombing run. No, light artillery barrage supported by an actual barrage. Good lord. And what is this? We do see an ISU-152 from Krozzfyre. An ISU-152. Very heavy assault gun. They also had the ISU-122, which was more specifically designed towards blowing up tanks actually. But the ISU-152 was certainly more iconic, I suppose, than those of those two. T-34 advances in on its own again, what really it shouldn't be doing. And an Ostwender rise from Opawilhelm, perhaps worried about Soviet Air Force power, but of course also nice of dealing with the infantry with. Stopped by an MD-42 here. Telemines on the roads. Opawilhelm doing what they can to actually deny the Soviets mobility on the roads. Splendid, splendid work. And there we go, T-34 moving in. A very little actual resistance here, which is good for the T-34. There again. No! There we go, Telemine went off. And if the scout car gets behind it and penetrates, that's going to be good. Now, oh, it did it! It did it! Good lord. Again, telemining the roads. Good move here by Opawilhelm. Absolutely commendable. And ISU-152 blasting away. Looks like a fragmentation bombing run called in. Heavy machine gun finding away, but it's too late. But mostly it actually doesn't do any damage. It just stuns the crew. That was a bit of waste of munitions again. Panther fighting on its own on the right hand side. It needs infantry support. Baumgruppe. It do seem to slightly neglect that part when it comes to armoured warfare. Which is not really helping you out. The losses are being inflicted though. And looks like another air reconnaissance run. Lots of anti-aircraft fire. Panther doing what they can against the Soviet infantry and their anti-tank rifles, and gaining veterans who want, allowing the blitzkrieg ability. But will Baumgruppe actually utilise it? Will Baumgruppe actually utilise it? Again, frontal assaults don't really work out for them. They might want to change that bit of their strategy. Another T-34 and another Telemine. The Telemines are definitely paying off for Opawilhelm right now. They've stopped 2 T-34s more or less. Can his scout car once more do it? He needs to get behind though. Get behind, hit the rear armour. Oh! Barely made it, but not enough. Close but no cigar. IC-152 needs to be careful. He's getting too close to the enemy. Too close. Remember, the IC-152 has a very large range, and thus you basically want to keep it far away from the front line. You just want to keep it close enough to actually be able to hit them. Not that the enemy can hit back. If your enemy can hit back on your IC-152, you're doing something wrong. Let's just stick with that as a rule of thumb. And there you go, veterans, your 3 Panzer Grenadiers. More armour. Oh, that's a Panther being pulled back there. For repairs, at least Baumgruppe is actually displaying some unit preservation there. About time. And another aircraft went down, blowing up in the middle of the road. So many aircraft being shot up, so many tanks being blown up. This is absolutely carnage. Panzer IV marked vehicle, but they knock out the T-34, but both of the tanks are in terrible conditions. Panzer is getting suppressed. Whew.
Do you need something?
This is definitely one hell of a 2 versus 2. Certainly not a dull moment. Except now when I say there's not a dull moment. Curse you, irony. Curse you. But both are building up forces, getting ready to land another blow. But again, the Soviets are beginning to run out of steam again. This high losses they've suffered compared to the Germans are beginning to really hurt. And there we go. Another Stuka down. I mean, so many of them have been shot down. Someone's going to have to do some explaining to Goering, or Fat Herman was he was also known. He wasn't exactly a well-liked man. And pretty much the butt of everyone's joke. Look, bun grenades being locked in here. Panzers though caught, but they are veterans free, so they certainly have a chance of providing victory here against the 6th Mechanized Corps. More artillery fire. The howitzer still standing. Actually, time to have a look at Krozzfyre. Getting his IC-152 repaired, splendid. Though he might want to get another combat engineer squad to work on that. Also noting they actually have access to a bombing strike, so if they can get line of sight on some important target like that howitzer, they could bomb it into the ground. And looks like that's what he's trying to. Rushing in Guards infantry, and there we go. Target provided. Is the Ostwind nearby? Ostwind, yes, it might stop it. No, it might not. Tigers are moving in. And there we go, the howitzer is a loss. But we do see a Tiger on the field of Baumgruppe has called in the 102nd Schwerer SS Panzerabteilung, and another bombing strike. But this time it actually went down by the looks of it. Also, Panther looks almost ready. Certainly a violent fight, although seems a bit over the top to call in on a truck. But then again, for the Soviet army, there was no kill like overkill. Sending in the Tiger. Panzer Grenadiers to hook up and support, or looks like Baumgruppe is committing a bit of a sin and sending in his Tiger unsupported. What are you doing, man? Ach du Dummkopf! Baumgruppe! Instead, he's rushing it straight in everything. He's making an easy target. What on God's man are you thinking? That has to be the absolutely worst employment of a Tiger I've seen in a long time. How do you even manage that? I hope that was a misclick of epic proportions. And there we go, Tiger wasted. I mean, really, that shouldn't have happened. Yet it did. At the very least, he should have had another tank supporting it. Instead, he rushed in blindly in the middle of a blizzard with a Tiger tank. He was practically begging for the enemy to blow it up. But at least his Panther's now combat ready. Katyusha on the way. Setting up a fire. So it's are losing ground, they're losing victory points. This is looking a bit unfortunate. Looks like the German armored force here for Opawilhelm though is ready for battle once more. Gefechtsbereit. Grenadiers here are trying their best against the Guards infantry, but looks they are losing to greater numbers. Ooh, Grenadier squad going to go down. Unfortunate, a tragedy. And the Soviets simply can't even hold the front line secure. They can't protect their support units, which is definitely a bit of an issue. Again, if either player had simply gone for something a bit more different, they might have had a better chance. But there we go, 2 assault guns firing away at the Panther. Panther needs to back out of there. Not sure why he insists on sending in like that. Pull back and blitz. Instead, he got it shocked. So one more hit, and that's pretty much going to be it. And there we go, Panther under control. Then he blitzes it. Oh dear. Too little, too late now. In the meanwhile, German armour is penetrating up behind, but coming under direct fire from the 2 assault guns. But looks like they're still going to have at it. Another Tiger has arrived for Baumgruppe. Move it in now, while the others are occupied with your teammates' tanks. Come on, schnell, los! Come on, Baumgruppe. Panzer IV down. That Tiger should have been moving in a lot sooner. Very disappointed in Baumgruppe over that. Moving in now after the ISU-152. Nice hit there. Bombing strike, but he's actually moving away. Oh dear, and the T-34 moving up. Oh no. Veteran T2, and there we go. Damaged engine. So close yet no cigar. And marked vehicles, well, nice combination right there, certainly taking opportunity of things. Good thing, by the way, to combine marked vehicle on priority targets. That is just definitely a good idea. Don't stop up the Tiger! And there we go, Tiger and the S-35, which have been abandoned then recruited by the Germans, are gone. Heavy losses right there for the Totenkopf. And a swift assault force moving through artillery fire, rockets and other fun things. And just note how much veteran infantry that Opawilhelm has. I mean, he's got veteran units, I would have better say, including a veteran G3 MG42, impressively enough. And then loses something. Another Panzer IV Ostwind combination. More rockets. Looks like we are seeing the Panzer continue to fire, but not really hitting anything, which is less good. very much less good. T-34 blown up. And looks like Baumgruppe has very little left. Again, Baumgruppe not doing so well. Baumgruppe needing to work on his unit preservation, leaving the most of the fight now to Opawilhelm. Another Opel-Blitz. And finally a fuel cache up for the Soviets. 51 kills on these Panzer Grenadiers. They're definitely doing quite well.
What do you need?
And Irish 152 also doing alright. Definitely something that should be feared.
I'm in the crosshairs.
And looks like another Stuka under fire. And another Stuka down. So many Stukas shot down, it's incredible. Ooh, fragmentation bombing run protecting the victory point. Slaughtering quite a few. And there we go. Looks like the Germans have finally had enough. They're going to remove the anti-aircraft units and allow the Luftwaffe to operate safely. Oh dear, the Panzer Grenadiers got wiped out. And we're actually seeing Stuks now on the way for Opawilhelm. Interesting, interesting. And I would say about damn time as well. And a very dense Panzerwehr barrage. Actually causing the entire thing to lag up a bit. With a light artillery barrage following up here. These Grenadiers don't need to get away. Interesting attempt here to try and knock out the ISU-152 using the light artillery barrage. Doesn't really do anything against it. And there we go, Sturmgeschütz 3 Ausführung G.
Close to victory. Press on. The enemy has 25 points remaining. The enemy is taking our
Whoa!
infantry.
The MG-42 got wiped out in one hit. Sending in the ISU-152, though very unsupported. Needs to be careful about that. Also, consider getting another Stug then moving in after the ISU-152 with a bit. Panzer IV here flanking. Oh, more rockets, more lag. Bit too much for my graphics card to handle. Probably getting a new one soon. And there you go, the ISU-152 is getting flanked, but there's a Su-85 joining in the fun. And Stu quickly rushes in, gets off a shot, fails to penetrate though. Looks like he's firing away at the Ostwind, ignoring the Stug. No. And there we go, Stug gets the kill. Move on to the Su-85. Oh, and the Su-85 missed. Of course, the Stug now being harder to hit. Splendid, splendid. Su-85 exposes the side. Krozzfyre here is a bit dropping the ball. Stug, Flak Panzer down, but the Stug is close. Already veterans won. And there we go. Actually winning against the Su-85. Could have been handled by Krozzfyre better, but still. And another Stug on the way. Time to look at Baumgruppe, who just looks to be providing support now, which rather I think displays a bit of a failing there on Baumgruppe's half.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
But clearly Opawilhelm is doing most of the work, and we're also noting here that most of the victory points are in German hands now, and we're also noting that the Russians really have very, very little left.
We have caution. Blizzard.
a minefield to come up the flank there. That's actually a good move by Opawilhelm. He's definitely on the ball. And there we go. Game over. 6th Guards Mechanized Corps lost the fight. The Reich won this one. A brutal fight. Heavy losses on both sides, but the Soviets made a few key mistakes. Part 1 was doctrine, again choosing the very same doctrine, and even then not fully utilizing it. That was a definite mistake. Also the whole, camping in the middle of the road, that really cost them a lot. And in that sense they did have problems with unit preservation and a bit, overall tactics. And also the fact that Lewish didn't quite seem to accept that his T-34s were T-34s and needed numbers to really, be able to do some serious damage. I mean, for Krozzfyre he did alright, but again his IC-152 needs to be kept back further, and he was also losing a lot, so he actually didn't have much to support with. For the Germans, Opawilhelm really did well. He was also the one that ended up carrying most of the fight as Baumgruppe, while initially strong, ended up wasting a lot of units, a lot of tanks, a lot of infantry, a lot of good infantry splitting out to find, making a lot of all of a sudden suicidal and a bit dumb things, to be honest. So that's something he might want to work on, though I'm not entirely sure what causes those things, so hard to say what it is that needs to be worked on, but clearly he needs to reflect a bit on his own actions. Opawilhelm's use of mines was also quite handy, and they also used different doctrines. They used them quite well. I mean, Baumgruppe actually used most of it except the officer, although for Opawilhelm he only used a few of the abilities, but still that's better than using only one. So in that sense they also used better doctrines, also a bit more work, and they also got themselves a slow but sure advantage in the way of building up the caches, supporting with trucks, but overall still building slowly up an extra resource reserve, that way having the advantage not also in munitions and fuel. So well played then. Certainly it was a good idea for Baumgruppe to go for Panthers. I just wish they'd used the Panthers better, and perhaps had a strong Panzer IV to back them up, but there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match, hope you learned a thing or two. If you did, why not subscribe, tell your friends. If you didn't, well, why not replay the on, provide some feedback in the comments. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.